SummerSlam has always had a very special place in my heart. And it's the one pay-per-view, I think, out of the entire WWE pay-per-view calendar that is widely known amongst my family. Just for the nickname that we gave it while we were younger. It was more so my dad, but then I turned it into a t-shirt. But SummerSlam as an event always had a very special place in my heart. I remember us just sitting around the TV while my dad ordered it on pay-per-view, which at the time, it was $29.99. $29.99. We had the big satellite dish on the top of the fucking house. It was massive. Sat around in the living room. Both my mom and my dad were there. My mom had this big thing for Macho Man Randy Savage. That was her favorite. I don't remember who my dad's favorite was, but I know I was an Ultimate Warrior guy. I was not a Hulkamaniac. I was more of one of the little warriors. And we all sat around, and my dad gave birth to the Summer Scam nickname while we were younger, and we all sat around watching SummerSlam. So much so that when we got older, and he didn't understand why we still watched it, going on into high school, he'd always make fun of us at the dinner table. So, what time the Summer Scams start? Then it made its way onto a t-shirt, and my dad texted me about a week and a half ago. He's like, yo, where's my royalties for the Summer Scam t-shirts? Because I came up with that. I love it, man. SummerSlam was always my favorite. I was more so a second half WWE guy when I was younger. I loved the Rumble, always loved the Rumble. Never cared about WrestleMania, never got the appeal of WrestleMania. I always think, and I even think it more so now that I'm so much more knowledgeable in this shit, that WrestleMania is nothing more than a big, overhyped, 7-hour waste of time. It's so much so that you couldn't pay me to sit there. I don't think you could pay me to sit at any of these shows, to be quite honest with you, because they're so long. And WWE has lost grasp. They lost knowledge of how important pay-per-view could be and should be, and they lost all, I would say, focus on making these shows seem very important. There's nothing that goes into these shows that is important, so the show itself isn't going to feel important, which I'll touch upon in a second, but I was more a second half WWE guy. SummerSlam and Survivor Series were my shit, man. They were my shit growing up. Even King of the Ring, SummerSlam, King of the Ring leading into SummerSlam, SummerSlam leading into Survivor Series. That was it. That was it. I loved it. Always been a Rumble guy, but SummerSlam was always my choice as far as comparing the two, SummerSlam and WrestleMania. SummerSlam started in 1988, man. The Mega Powers versus the Mega Bucks. Hulk Hogan and Macho Man Randy Savage versus Ted DiBiase and Andre the Giant. Jesse the Body Ventura as the special guest referee. That was the first ever main event for the first ever SummerSlam. Then we go on into the Bret Harts and the Mr. Perfects and the classics they had for the Intercontinental Championship. Then we get on into 1992 at Wembley Stadium. 80,000 people, which I hope one day soon we get another SummerSlam in the United Kingdom. First time that the Intercontinental Championship was defended in the main event of a WWF pay-per-view. Bulldog and Bret tore the house down. You hear all the stories about Bulldog being all drugged up, and you read excerpts from Bret Hart's book as to how he carried that match and how he had to guide the Bulldog through everything. I didn't really enjoy the match as much as others did. I always thought that it was really overhyped. If you're asking me to make a top 10, Bret Hart and British Bulldog would not be in my top 10. That's just the way I feel. I think it's really overrated. And I'm not saying it wasn't a great match. It's just, there's nothing about that match that really took it to the next level for me as compared to others. So that was great. 1992 Intercontinental Championship got a big spotlight. I believe, now correct me if I'm wrong, that's the only other time that the Intercontinental Championship was in a main event like that on WWF television. The last time we seen it was at WrestleMania 6 with the Ultimate Warrior going into WrestleMania 6 in the Sky Dome as IC champion, and his opponent obviously was the WWF champion at the time, Hulk Hogan, where the Ultimate Warrior became dual champions at the end of that WrestleMania. We go on into 1993. Yokozuna and Lex Luger, the Lex Express, took on a life of its own. Lex Luger shed the narcissist gimmick, and he went all-American because Vince McMahon needed another Hulk Hogan. And he looked at Lex Luger, and he thought Lex Luger was going to be the next Hulk Hogan. He needed another American hero to take down the Japanese beast, quote-unquote, Japanese, Yokozuna. Hulk Hogan lost the title to Yokozuna at the King of the Ring that year. Lex Luger is the opponent for Yokozuna. Really cheesy ending where Yokozuna is still the WWE champion at the time, and Lex Luger wins by countout, I believe. And he wins, but he didn't win the championship, but celebrated as if he just won the championship. Everybody came down from the back, and they held him up in the air on their shoulders, balloons and confetti. It was ridiculous. It was ridiculous. Going back to that year, man, 1993, I love that SummerSlam. There was a lot of filler on that SummerSlam. You had Ludwig Borga versus Marty Jannetty, I believe. IRS versus the 1-2-3 Kid. You had a disappointing, because coming out of the fucking King of the Ring, man, Mr. Perfect was hitting his stride. 1993 King of the Ring, we had Mr. Perfect and Bret Hart. And he goes on into the SummerSlam event that year with Shawn Michaels. You'd think that Mr. Perfect and Shawn Michaels would tear the house down for an IC title match. Disappointing. Disappointing. Show opened up with Razor Ramon, and I believe it was Ted DiBiase that he was going one-on-one with. The whole event, though. The whole event was made. And the one thing that really stands out to me was that Jerry the King Lawler and Bret the Hitman Hart match, man. It was supposed to be Bret the Hitman Hart and Jerry the King Lawler, stemming from what happened at the 1993 King of the Ring. You know, Jerry Lawler beat up Bret Hart as Gene Okerlund was coronating him as the king. Came out, stepped on the crown, took the scepter, destroyed the scepter, took the end of the scepter and jammed it into Bret Hart's throat. It was fucking fantastic. After he beat Bam Bam Bigelow. Jerry Lawler was such a cowardly fucking heel. It was amazing. Amazing. And he made this excuse that he got into a car accident because some fucking old lady didn't know how to drive. And he came out on crutches. And the Hart family was sitting at ringside. This was fantastic. He appoints Doink the Clown to take his place. The king and his fucking court jester. Doink the Clown. It's brilliant fucking television. It really is. And Matt Osborne, the original Doink, was phenomenal in his role. I loved it. Doink goes by ringside. You got Bruce Hart and Owen Hart sitting there, right? He has a bucket. He has two buckets, actually. One with confetti, right? He throws the confetti into the crowd. You know? Everybody's laughing. Oh, look, he's just playing jokes. He's a clown, right? Then he's got another bucket. And he has a bucket of water, and he tosses the bucket on Bruce Hart. Bruce Hart, reportedly, did not know what was going to happen, and they did that off script. They went off the script, per se. So, at the end of all this, Doink has a 20-minute classic with Bret. He beats Doink. Pretty much beats Doink. Had him in the sharpshooter. And then Jerry the King Lawler. Bobby Heenan, I'll never forget, he's on commentary. He pulled a miracle. He miraculously healed himself. Jerry Lawler on crutches and in like a fucking brace and bandages. He takes everything off. And he gets in the ring and beats the shit out of Bret Hart with a crutch. And the Hart family on the outside going fucking crazy, man. The realism in this match was off the charts. You seen Bret. Bret was a consummate fucking professional, man. He did everything Bret Hart did, he made believable. From the beating he took, from the beatings he took in his career, he made you sympathize with him just by watching him grimace in pain and selling. It's the art of wrestling. And then Jerry the King Lawler gets in there, man. You see these shots, he was fucking pissed. That's what made 1993 SummerSlam memorable for me. And I remember, man, my family was vacationing in Miami that year. And I was on the phone with my grandma because we were staying at my dad's mom's house. They had a condo down there. And we were down there for the weekend of SummerSlam that year. I called my grandma up in New York, my mom's mom. I'm like, Grandma, did you VCR? Did you tape SummerSlam for me? She's like, yep, all 3 hours taped. I couldn't wait to get back home, man. That's how much SummerSlam meant to me. I could go on and on about the history of SummerSlam, man. I really could. You know, just going back to 1997. I mentioned this on Twitter. Some people gave it a thumbs down. Some people don't understand the history of this match. Bret the Hitman Hart and The Undertaker with Shawn Michaels as the special guest referee. SummerSlam in East Rutherford, New Jersey, man. That's where Stone Cold broke his neck. That pay-per-view was phenomenal. You had Triple H and Mankind in a steel cage to open that show. You got the Bret Hart Undertaker match to close the show. You got Owen Hart and Stone Cold for the IC title in the middle of that show. Just a great pay-per-view from top to bottom. There was some filler on that show. It wasn't the best pay-per-view that WWE's ever put on, but that main event of Bret Hart and The Undertaker, man, heart and soul is what they coined it. The ending of that WWF Championship match, from Jim Ross's call to Vince McMahon's call to the crowd throwing trash at Bret the Hitman Hart to the shot that Bret spit on Shawn Michaels to the chair shot to the reaction of Shawn to the 3 count he was forced to make, otherwise he wouldn't be able to wrestle again. He pretty much gave the WWF Championship to Bret Hart. Otherwise, Bret, if he lost, he was going to be shipped back to Canada, not able to wrestle in the States again. If Shawn Michaels fucked this match up, he was gone from the WWE. So the stipulations were there. The chair shot, the spit, the call, the trash in the ring, Bret holding the title, the sheer fucking chaos that ensued after that. And even Howard Finkel's call was phenomenal. Everything about that, man. To this day, you will never, ever change my mind on that WWF Championship. That WWE Championship will never, ever see an ending like that ever again. That's the greatest ending to a WWF Championship match that will ever be. Just because of what happened. And not many people even think about it. Thumbs down? No. No. Shove the thumb up your ass. That pay-per-view, that ending, was the start of the Attitude Era. Because that's what led to Hell in a Cell. That's what led to Shawn Michaels being out for 4 years. That had led to everything. Attitude Era led to the first Hell in a Cell, led to the Shawn Michaels Undertaker feud that we seen culminate at WrestleMania 26. Because at the end of all that, Shawn Michaels was out for 4 years. Casket match in 1998 at the Royal Rumble fucked him up. His back was fucked up, gone for 4 years. Who knows what would have happened in that 4 years? Who knows? This is what SummerSlam means to me, man. I could go back and talk about this shit for hours. That's how important it is to me. Now, 1997 was my second favorite SummerSlam. My best SummerSlam, my favorite SummerSlam was 2002. The Rock and Brock Lesnar. That entire show, with that being the main event, was from top to bottom the best SummerSlam show that they've ever put on. Seriously. And on that same show, we had Shawn Michaels and Triple H in that unsanctioned match, which was fucking phenomenal, right? Everything about that show was just a thumbs up. Everything. I could go back and watch that show anytime. We had the Daniel Bryan, John Cena shit, where the Authority had Randy Orton cash in, John Cena and Brock Lesnar, which should have been Brock Lesnar and Daniel Bryan. He might have dodged a bullet there, but the intense beatdown, the 16 suplexes, which gave birth to Suplex City, John Cena, you know? Everything about SummerSlam, man. There's so many history-making moments at SummerSlam. So many. Undertaker and Edge, Hell in a Cell, right? We had Daniel Bryan versus Randy Orton for the WWE Championship with Triple H as a special guest referee. That's the cash-in, right? It's unbelievable. Unbelievable stuff. And, yeah, The Undertaker and Brock Lesnar and Randy Orton with the fucking MMA shots that busted open Randy Orton. What is WWE's memorable moment this year? Now, as I got older, and I was paying more attention to WWE programming, SummerSlam's bill, just like everything else, just became ordinary. There was nothing special about it. WWE takes all of these pay-per-views for granted. They don't make pay-per-view special anymore. They got so many things that they're worrying about that when it gets to the pay-per-view, they're just happy that they pieced together a pay-per-view for 3, 4, 5, 6 hours. And more times than not, people's mentality is, well, the build sucks, but More times than not, when WWE goes into these shows with little to no preparation, they end up being better. They end up being some of the best shows of the year. That's not the mentality that one should have. This is SummerSlam. Look at the history that SummerSlam has under a WWE banner. Why wouldn't you want to treat this as a major event? Does it feel like a major event? Does it feel like what I just mentioned with all these different scenarios from previous years at SummerSlam when we were younger? The answer is no. And the difference is they put effort into these older shows. WWE goes about doing nothing as far as effort for any of these shows. SummerSlam, even a D-level pay-per-view like fucking Battleground or Clash of Champions or WrestleMania. They rest on the laurels of it being SummerSlam. WWE thinks that they've gotten so big and made a big weekend of all this shit for these major 4 pay-per-views that people are going to come just based on the SummerSlam name. And I don't know why people aren't waking up to the fact that more times than not, when WWE is having no build on television and they merely want you to come to the show just because it's SummerSlam, that it's just that. There's no hype around. There's no excitement. They merely want you there because it's their second biggest pay-per-view of the year. They don't want you there to watch the effort and the culmination of the stories that they've tried to tell you. And I don't know how anyone can take pride in what they're doing. I don't know how Vince can take pride in giving us the product that he's given us. I don't know how anybody working alongside Vince McMahon could be, sitting there taking pride in, oh my God, this could be a great show. I can't wait to see this play out. More times than not, we come here every single major WWE pay-per-view and say, Saturday's going to be my Royal Rumble. Saturday's going to be my WrestleMania. Saturday's going to be my SummerSlam. Saturday is going to be my Survivor Series. Why? Why do we say that? Why is it so easy for us to say that and have it roll off of our tongue with little to no effort? Because NXT TakeOver embodies everything that I just mentioned here. That's the point I'm trying to make. NXT TakeOver embodies everything that I once loved and fell in love with earlier in my childhood by watching these older SummerSlams. Saturday is my SummerSlam. I don't know what Sunday is. Sunday is not SummerSlam to me because unless WWE gives me that feeling that I had back in 1997 or in 2002 or in 1993, I'm not going to consider it a SummerSlam. So that's my little spoken word here, man. I'm very hard on WWE, but I have to be honest with you. There's nothing about this show that excites me whatsoever outside of a debuting Bray Wyatt. And the reason why I'm so interested in Bray Wyatt is because he reminds me of what I fell in love with watching older WWF. Now I'm just waiting to see how long it takes them to fuck it up. Gonna go over the entire card here today, man. We got a lot going on this week. I will give you guys the schedule right now. So, Thursday, you guys are gonna get TakeOver Toronto preview and predictions. On Wednesday, we did the regular go-home show for NXT, so you got that. TakeOver Toronto predictions on Thursday. You guys are seeing this on Friday. And then Saturday, I will have a culmination of all the news and rumors right before TakeOver on Saturday night. And then Sunday, being that SummerSlam is going to be 6 hours, I'm not doing a goddamn thing before SummerSlam because I'm going to be knee-deep, head first, into this SummerSlam card. So that is the schedule for the remainder of the week. Anything else that I have left over, I will probably do something later on next week, man. So that is what I got going on. But thank you guys so much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed my nice little throwback into my childhood and into the SummerSlam history that has been so important to me and has kind of just been non-existent as we age. But I hope you guys enjoyed that, man. We're going to go over the entire card here today, right here on Off the Script. Make sure you guys follow me on social media, man, at JD from NY206. That is on Twitter and Instagram. Hit that subscribe button down below. Turn on that bell for all notifications. I would greatly appreciate it. If you guys want to show some appreciation for the podcast, You guys can certainly do that through Patreon. Patreon.com/JD from NY206. I would really appreciate you guys do that. Make sure you guys go and check out this week's videos, man. Last week's Off the Script is still there for you. Go and check it out. I'll leave you guys the playlist link down below in the comments. You guys can go check that out if you missed anything that you missed on episode 285. Monday Night Raw, Roman Reigns tries to evade an oncoming vehicle by running him over. And then on Tuesday, we got WWE giving us little to no intrigue about what is going on with Roman Reigns as they announced, I'm going to use that term loosely, announced that Buddy Murphy knew who the culprit was, and he gave the name of Eric Rowan. Daniel Bryan came out later and says this is not true, and he completely denied all these accusations from Buddy Murphy. So make sure you guys go and check all that stuff out, including NXT and my thoughts on the Go Home show. Go check it out. Everything you need is linked in the top right corner, man. Drop it down. Everything you need will be right there. Got to shout out my fine friends over at Harry's, man. You guys know the deal. Harrys.com/script. You're going to get a $13 value trial set by using our unique link, Harrys.com/scripts. 10 million people, that's a lot of people, man, have used Harry's. And I want you guys to be one of those 10 million, along with myself, by experiencing the best shave of your life, man. Harry's founders were two regular guys. They were tired of getting ripped off. They were tired of paying for overpriced gimmicks. Vibrating heads, flex balls, handles that look like a prop in a cheesy sci-fi movie. These are just some of the tactics that the leading brands have used to overcharge us for years. Harry's makes quality, durable blades at a fair price. Guys, it's $2 per blade. That is unbelievable. Now, to keep prices that low, they cut out the middleman. World-class blade factory owned by them in Germany that's been making some of the best razors in the world for 99 years. Now they can provide you great quality at factory direct prices. Plus, this is the best part, a 100% quality guarantee. If you don't love your shave, they will give you a full refund. JD, this sounds great. What if I sign up using Harrys.com/script? What am I going to get? You're going to get a razor handle with an easy grip. Choice of color is yours, guys. Orange, navy blue, or the evergreen. 5-blade razor with a lubricating strip and a trimmer blade for a close, comfortable shave. Rich, lathering shave gel, which will leave you smelling great and it feels great on your skin. And a travel blade cover to keep your razor dry and easy on the go. Listeners of Off the Script can redeem their trial set today by going to Harrys.com/script. Let them know that JD sent you to help support Off the Script. I'm going to be honest with you guys, man. When I look at this year's SummerSlam card on paper, it does not look that bad whatsoever. Now, when you watch Monday Night Raw and Smackdown Live, you see the chaos that these shows have been. You see the mess that these shows have been. And you feel like SummerSlam is not important. But by looking at it on paper, all together, all 10 matches that have officially been announced, it doesn't look that bad. And more times than not, I know this better than anybody. Normally when I shit on a pay-per-view build, and I had every right to shit on this build because WWE just had to throw a Raw reunion show in the middle of this shit, which took away 1 week. Who knows what could have been built? We could have had an extra week of Goldberg and Dolph Ziggler to make me care about it. We could have had an extra week of The Demon possibly being announced for SummerSlam against The Fiend, Bray Wyatt. We didn't really see much of Finn Balor whatsoever. We could have had an extra week of Nakamura and Ali. Even though I don't want to see the match right now. And I would prefer that title get some spotlight going into SmackDown on Fox. We could have had an extra build for Trish and Charlotte Flair. I'm interested somewhat. Mostly because I want to see what Trish does. But we could have had an extra week build to actually make everybody feel a little bit more invested in what they got going on. We could have had an extra week build of Roman Reigns and Daniel Bryan. And whatever they got planned for who's attacking Roman Reigns. They could have had an extra week for a lot of shit. And WWE just had to throw a Raw reunion mixed in there that did absolutely nothing to enhance any storylines going into Toronto. Now, I want to start off at the bottom. Let's start off with the Cruiserweight Championship. We don't know what the pre-show is. I could come up with some ideas about what's going to happen on the pre-show. Nakamura and Ali has not officially been announced, which fucking pains me to say because the IC title should be in a position like it was back in the day. The IC title should definitely be one of those titles that is given some priority on a major show like this, and it's not. And the fact that it's not announced, more than likely it's going to be on the pre-show. So the pre-show, I don't know if it's going to be 1 hour or if it's going to be 2 hours. Normally with these pre-shows, WrestleMania did it. I would not expect anything different from SummerSlam. 5 p.m. for a pre-show. Too long. Too long. I pray to God. I pray to the fucking people who are looking down above. Looking down below, at me. I don't want a 2-hour pre-show. There's no reason for a 2-hour pre-show. I'm not going to watch a 2-hour pre-show. Because if you have 2 matches, an hour and a half is probably going to go towards all the video packages that we've seen thrown about all week. I could see Nakamura and Ali being on the pre-show. I could see Gulak and Oney Lorcan being on the pre-show. Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross, new tag team champions for WWE, which is a joke in itself. Don't know why WWE made that decision. We'll probably dive into that on Saturdays off the script. But they don't have a match. WWE could put them against anybody. And I don't think WWE is going to put them against anybody because they don't want to get Alexa in the ring. They don't want to damage precious cargo. And I don't think, quite frankly, I could take another loss for Asuka and Kairi Sane. And Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville, they have seemed to lost so much stock in WWE for whatever reason. There's no tag teams, credible tag teams, in WWE at all. Which makes me wonder why they even created these fucking things to begin with. So you got a bunch of guys and women that don't have spots on SummerSlam's card. So we could see, potentially, I'm thinking that they're not going to do a tag team title match, but absolutely the Cruiserweight Championship and the Intercontinental Championship, Ali and Nakamura, at SummerSlam's pre-show. Now, if that's the case, I am going to say Ali wins the Intercontinental Championship, which, if it happens, man, I'm going to be pissed. Not because I don't want Ali to find all the success in the world in WWE, but man, did they book this thing like shit. Absolute fucking shit. He loses at Smackville, turns right back around on that following Tuesday, beats Nakamura. We hear nothing of the match or these two guys in the weeks following. And now I'm supposed to believe, since Ali beat Nakamura in a fucking 2-minute match on SmackDown Live last week, that he's now the number 1 contender for the Intercontinental Championship. I pray to God that when Eric Bischoff has some sense of power in his new role as executive director, that title finds itself in a little bit more of a spotlight. Because what they're doing with it, 2-minute matches, we're determining a number 1 contender. This is what you think of Ali. Yeah, let's get a title on him because he lost and then won, and we can't beat him again because we're building him up. But Nakamura's here, so fuck him. That's the sense I get from it. Why did you even give the title to Nakamura if that's the case? I don't understand it. Seriously. If anything, you should have put the title on Bray Wyatt. That would have made much more sense than what you're doing with it now. Imagine Bray Wyatt is the Intercontinental Champion going on a fucking hellacious run. That's not the last time I'll mention Bray Wyatt and what he should have been doing at SummerSlam instead of what they got him doing. I'm going with Ali. And I don't want to go with Ali. Because I don't think Ali's time is now to win it. Not in this situation. They're pretty much gifting him a title with basically nothing behind it. And it doesn't necessarily make Nakamura look good either. And the title looks like shit. It deserves so much better. So if that's the case, which I'm assuming it is, because they've been going back and forth on social media, and WWE is going to need to fill that pre-show, because everything else that I see right now is not going to be on the pre-show. So we got Nakamura and Ali. I'm going with Ali to be the new Intercontinental Champion. So I hope they have plans after that, because that makes the Extreme Rules pay-per-view, which the reports of Paul Heyman being angry, I hope, are true, that seeing Nakamura and Balor on the pre-show, that Paul Heyman was more upset that the title and the match was on the pre-show than the actual performers were. I don't believe that. And now here we are again. And Paul Heyman's supposed influence is being felt in WWE. If that was the case, then the Intercontinental Championship would make its way to the show. Right now, we don't know until WWE makes an official announcement. But I'm not going to wait to do this video until WWE gives me a fucking announcement. Fuck the IC title. That's what they are pretty much telling us. So if they don't care, why am I going to care? Ali's going to be the new Intercontinental Champion, and that's what I'm sticking with at SummerSlam. Drew Gulak versus Oney Lorcan. Oney Lorcan, part of an NXT tag team that I like very much with Danny Burch. They are a great Cinderella babyface tag team. Very good together. Very physical and very hard-hitting. They got that strong style that I like. And Drew Gulak, he's coming into his own on WWE TV, man. He looks the best he has ever looked while being with the WWE. This is the best version that we are getting of Drew Gulak. And I love it. I think he's a fucking phenomenal performer. And you can kind of tell when someone is ready for their time. Tony Nese really wasn't doing anything with that championship. He got a run. And a deserved run, because Tony Nese is fucking fantastic at what he does. But Drew Gulak, man, you've seen him coming on up, and you've seen the shit that he was doing in NXT with Kushida. And you've seen the shit that he was doing with Matt Riddle. You know, and he's a 205 Live guy. He is 205 Live. That's his brand. He's been there since the beginning. Through transformations, through ups and downs with that brand. He was there since the beginning with the Enzos and the Pacs, and with Vince McMahon running the show and making it a joke. Now with Adam Pearce running the show. And he's the number one guy there. He's been through it all. But up until this point where he won the championship, he was delivering on everything. He was one of those guys that was going out there when WWE asked him to do something, whether it was for 205 Live, NXT, Evolve. He'd go out there and do it and fucking deliver. That's why he's the Cruiserweight Champion. You got to reward hard work. Tony Nese was great, but he was more than likely only going to be a transitional champion. He was never going to have that mass appeal. He's great in the ring, but who is Tony Nese? Drew Gulak has been there since the beginning. So is Nese, but, man, you got to reward just fucking the hard work that Drew Gulak has been doing. Now, Oney Lorcan won a six-pack challenge to earn the right to face Gulak at SummerSlam for the Cruiserweight Championship. I believe this was this week that it happened. It happened on Tuesday on 205 Live. Oney Lorcan wins. I do not think that WWE is going with Oney Lorcan to be the Cruiserweight Champion. I'm going with Drew Gulak because Gulak. Going with Gulak to retain the Cruiserweight Championship. Oney Lorcan's great, but I'd rather see him in NXT have more success, and I think NXT needs him a little bit more in a priority role because NXT's tag team division right now is kind of weak. It's the weakest it's been in quite some time. So, Oney Lorcan's great, but I don't think it's going to be great enough to take the title off of Drew Gulak. Something that I'm very interested in, just out of sheer curiosity, that it's not a tag team match of sorts, and it's not some fucking gimmick match. Genuinely interested in Trish Stratus and Charlotte Flair for whatever they got going on here. Singles match, dream match, first time ever, one-on-one, whatever you want to call it. This is going to be a spotlight match for WWE at SummerSlam. I am genuinely interested to see what Trish can do with Charlotte Flair. I am genuinely interested in what Charlotte Flair can do with Trish in leading someone like Trish who's been away for quite some time. She's been back here and there, but, you know, she might still have some of that ring rust. Charlotte is heralded as the greatest female performer in all of WWE. I don't think that's true at all. I really don't. I think certain people overhype Charlotte. I'm not saying that she's not great, but I think people put her on a certain pedestal, and I do think that it's coming from a place of favoritism for whatever reason. A place of favoritism or a place of just not really being all that knowledgeable or in the know about what's going on. I would much rather take a Tessa Blanchard, man. I go back and forth with certain people that I text back and forth with during these shows. Tessa is my number one in all of women's wrestling right now. She is beyond anybody that WWE has right now on their entire roster. Tessa Blanchard is a star. You know, diamonds are forever. Tessa and what she's done certainly has resonated with me and a lot of people. And it's gotten to a point where, and it's going to continue getting to a point where, if Charlotte can continue to do what she does in WWE and Tessa, it's going to be inevitable that Tessa is going to be on her way to the WWE. You know, I don't know what's going to happen when her time in Impact is over. She's reaching a certain point right now where there's not much that she could do. She was women's champion. She could be women's champion again. She could help elevate somebody underneath her that might need it and have her take Tessa's place, whoever that might be. Jordan Grace. It could be anybody, you know. It could be Emma. Emma just signed over there with Impact Wrestling. Tenille Dashwood. It could be her. We don't know. All I know is that Impact's got the best women's division right now in all of wrestling. And I'm not stuttering when I say that. I mean that wholeheartedly. But Tessa's not going to be there much longer. I could definitely see SummerSlam one of these years with Tessa and Charlotte. You know, instead of doing the whole WrestleMania thing again, I could see it at WrestleMania too. It's a WrestleMania caliber match. I could see Tessa and Charlotte main eventing SummerSlam. First women to ever headline SummerSlam. You know? That's something that I want to see. And something that I honestly think is inevitable. Because there's no way WWE is not going to keep an eye on her when her contract is up. She's going to be making so much money. She's going to have the ball in her court. She's going to have the world by the balls. Now, whether she goes to AEW or WWE, I don't know. But that's something I want. And that's something that I think Charlotte needs. Charlotte really didn't need this match. WWE made this match because they had nothing else for Charlotte to do. And that's not because it's her fault. WWE had given Charlotte the time off because Andrade went through some devastating family situations. His aunt passed away and his mother passed away all in the same week. And she was there, being that they're engaged, and she wanted to take time away, which was probably good for her, and she wanted to be there for her fiance. So coming back, you know, WWE didn't have anything planned for her. They couldn't put her in a world title situation with Bayley because it would be too blatant as to what they were doing. She really didn't deserve it. And the reports say that WWE's had this match with Trish planned dating back to October and WWE Evolution, which I do believe. The door has always been open for Trish. And WWE had already known by that time that SummerSlam was taking place in Toronto. It was already announced that WWE was not going back to the Barclays Center. So one thing led to another. You know, the announcement was made that they were going to be in Toronto. Trish is from Toronto. They probably talked about it. We'll talk about it a little bit more. We'll get in some negotiations heated up by the time SummerSlam rolls around or close to SummerSlam. And being that Sasha's not there, Bayley doesn't really make sense. Nobody wants to see Alexa versus Trish Stratus. That would be fucking embarrassing. Charlotte was the best choice of them all. So the reason why this match is happening is due to the fact that SummerSlam's in Toronto and Charlotte had absolutely nothing else going for her. So right now was the best time ever to do this match. This is going to do one thing and one thing only. Charlotte is going to be elevated. If she could be elevated anymore, I don't know, but it's going to elevate Charlotte more than likely to a point where she's going to contend for the Women's Championship. And that's not something I am really excited about at all, because it's going to go right back to the same old shit. Charlotte doesn't need to be in a Women's Championship match every single time. I seen some people on social media, oh, why is Charlotte on the pay-per-view? She didn't do anything. Those are idiots. I'm over here, I'm Sicilian, moving my hands around all over the place. Those are idiots. How are you not going to have Charlotte on SummerSlam? It's kind of silly. Not really a good business move by WWE. So, this is why it was made. Because they had nothing else for Charlotte. Trish is in Toronto. It makes sense. If you don't do it now, it's not going to really make that much sense. And it's not really going to be as big as it is now. Being that Trish is a hometown girl. I hope that this doesn't quickly elevate Charlotte to the main event scene and Bayley. I don't want it to lead to that. I know it's eventually going to lead to that, but have Charlotte get some wins underneath her, please. Please. Seriously. Bayley and Charlotte is inevitable at the next show. Because they are just quick to get another title reign on Charlotte and just check off another number. She's one more closer to her father. I'm going with Charlotte. Trish, I think, is going to look good. Again, I'm more intrigued to see how Trish is going to perform here, and I'm more intrigued to see how Charlotte can lead with someone who's been away for so long. So I'm going to keep a close eye on this one. Charlotte Flair is going to win. I do think that she will tap out Trish to the figure 8. So there you go. I heard rumors that Trish was trying to learn her own version of the figure 4. So we'll see what happens. But we could see Trish get the figure 4 on Charlotte. She could get a taste of her own medicine. And then at the end of it, Charlotte gets the figure 8 and taps out Trish. So there you go. Charlotte is going to defeat Trish, in my honest opinion, at SummerSlam. Goldberg versus Dolph Ziggler. This one has been, if you even want to say, been building for 3 weeks. Because ever since Dolph Ziggler and Shawn Michaels had that back and forth, Dolph Ziggler's been mentioning Goldberg in several promos. He's dropped Goldberg's name. He's dropped Mick Foley's name. He's dropped Shawn Michaels' name. And they even made light of Goldberg's embarrassment at Super Showdown. But Goldberg has not been seen on WWE television. He has not been heard of since Super Showdown. The last thing we heard from Bill Goldberg was that he was very disappointed and he was going to make it up to all of us. Now, I joked around that WWE probably gave Goldberg this opportunity to rectify that. And Goldberg said, you know what, I just want to come back and have my career end on a high note and not that. I joked around that Goldberg was probably coming back for free to do this match, which if I am Bill Goldberg, I absolutely would. You know, WWE is doing him the fucking courtesy of having him get back in the ring. It didn't seem to mind on Monday Night Raw. They popped a pretty decent rating. I guess everybody anticipated that Goldberg was going to be there. I guess they caught wind that Goldberg was going to be there. Goldberg's segment and him coming out on Monday Night Raw drew big numbers on YouTube. So people, even though we all shit on Goldberg, still kind of wanted to see Goldberg on Monday Night Raw. It's odd how that works. I guess people are easy and they are quick to forgive. You know, I don't really give a shit either way. I don't think any of these legends need to be in the fucking ring, to be quite honest with you. That's including Shawn Michaels, even though he's the one that gets an easy pass. He doesn't need to be in the ring, but I'm not going to cry, bitch, and moan if Shawn Michaels wants another match, because he's probably my favorite of all time outside The Undertaker. But Shawn Michaels and fucking Mick Foley and Kurt Angle and Goldberg, these guys don't need to be in the ring. WWE has to learn that the cookie jar is stale. It is stale. There are legends, but they're not going to be of any interest. The cookie looks good, but it's not necessarily going to taste good. When you bite into it, it's going to be hard as a fucking rock. And it's not going to be very tasty. That's what I correlate with these legends. Now, the only other legend that I would not mind to see come back, even though he said he quietly retired from the WWE, which I think is bullshit, because you know WWE is fucking jerking off at the thought of The Rock versus Roman Reigns at WrestleMania, or Vince is probably jerking off to the thought of Rock versus Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania. You know it's coming eventually. Whether it happens now or it happens a couple years from now, The Rock is always going to be in amazing shape. And The Rock is always going to have a place in WWE. It's going to happen. More than likely Reigns, but it's going to happen. He's the only other one that I would want to see back for one more match. That is it. But outside that, the legends and the legends fucking shtick of them coming back and taking spots on these shows, it needs to die. Because before you know it, WWE's not going to have this courtesy anymore, and they're going to, oh my God, they're going to have to book every week talent. They're going to have to book the people that are on the shows and touring every single week. Oh my God! Such a terrible situation to be in. I don't give a shit about this match. The only reason why this match is happening is because A, Ziggler's a loser. B, Goldberg wants to rectify Super Showdown, and there's no one else that even makes sense. There's no one that makes sense, period. But if you had to choose one, and no, it's not The Undertaker, because I don't think The Undertaker wants anything to do with that again. The only one that would even make sense is Dolph Ziggler, because Ziggler's a loser by nature. He's been a loser ever since he's been back. And Ziggler is a masterful seller. He will sell his fucking ass off for Bill Goldberg. Simple. That's the A, B, and C reasons as to why this is happening. Now, I read I read, and we'll dive into this on Saturday. I don't want to give away everything, but there was a report that Goldberg and Ziggler, the idea of the ending of this match being tossed around in creative right now is that Dolph Ziggler reportedly could get a shock victory over Bill Goldberg. I don't think so. Because where are you going with Dolph Ziggler if he beats Goldberg? That's a big fucking feather in the cap of Dolph Ziggler. And I don't think anybody right now in the community, on TV, in the audience, wants to see Dolph Ziggler anywhere near a fucking major title. IC title, been there, done that. World Championship, don't make me fucking laugh. Where does Dolph Ziggler go if he beats Bill Goldberg? There's absolutely no positives to Dolph Ziggler beating Bill Goldberg. None. Now, Goldberg, if he suffers a loss, I mean, it's not out of the realm of possibility for WWE to be that petty. Maybe they do book Dolph Ziggler to get one over on Goldberg, just as a fuck you for what happened to The Undertaker. Because you know internally people are talking about it being Bill Goldberg's fault. You know. They might want to get back at Goldberg for that. Or maybe they'll just book Bill Goldberg to lose this and maybe do it again and have him get his revenge then. Which I don't want, because that's another spot, another segment on TV taken up by a legend. We don't need it. More than likely, Ziggler will probably move on to The Miz. You know? I had thoughts of maybe Ziggler being the new legend killer. Maybe he starts with Goldberg. Then he goes to The Undertaker. You know? Then he takes out Shawn Michaels. Now I'm getting ahead of myself. JD, don't make me laugh. You're being a fucking comedian. I know. These are weird thoughts that I get. Dolph Ziggler, the new legend killer. It's going to go nowhere. It's going to go nowhere. The only outcome here is Bill Goldberg, and in 20 seconds flat, 30 seconds max, spear, jackhammer, that is it. Dolph Ziggler's a great wrestler. I'm not going to see, or nor do I want to see, Dolph Ziggler chain wrestling Bill Goldberg. Headlocks and fucking ankle locks and fucking headlock takeovers and fucking hurricanranas and a fucking tope suicida. No, I don't want to see none of that. I don't want to see none of that. 30 seconds. Spear, jackhammer, and that is it. If you want a booking scenario, what's going to happen here is, remember Goldberg and Kevin Owens at Fastlane when they had that match and Goldberg won the Universal Championship? Kevin Owens made the match stretch out to about 5 minutes because he stood on the outside trying to fucking anger Bill Goldberg. And when he got back in the ring, spear, jackhammer, 1, 2, 3, new Universal Champion. That is what I see happening here. Because Dolph Ziggler's smart enough to not be in the ring because Goldberg's going to want to fucking get in there. He's going to be all fucking hyped up. He's probably going to be bleeding before he even makes the ring. You don't want to be in the ring because the first thing that Goldberg is thinking is jackhammer. So Dolph is probably going to be on the outside, do some mind games. I'm the legend here. You're going to wait for me, man. And when he gets back in the ring, spear, jackhammer, 1, 2, 3. Those are two scenarios. It's either going to end quick or it's going to be a little prolonged and then end quick. So I'm going with Goldberg. There's absolutely no positives to Dolph Ziggler winning this match, and nor do I want to see it. And that's the end. I hope Ziggler is riding off into the sunset. You fucking cast him off TV, and Goldberg has his win back, which is the main reason why he's back, to fix Super Showdown, and goodbye. There's no more reason for him to be back. Even though people want to see Goldberg, it's more about the nostalgia, because that's what they know. Said that Goldberg comes back and he's a bigger star at 51 years old than anyone on the active roster right now. Generating more ratings and more views on YouTube than the actual fucking roster. Said. That's WWE's fault. They're to blame for that. Goldberg's going to win. Jackhammer, 1, 2, 3. Ziggler's going to sell his ass off. Ricochet. Someone who I loved in NXT. Kind of fading. That love is fading for Ricochet on the main roster because WWE has such a talented individual and they don't know how to book him, even though he is a favorite of Paul Heyman. Ricochet and AJ Styles for the United States Championship. One thing I would have changed here is, we've seen this already. There's no difference to this outside the 3 other times we've seen it. First match happened, and AJ Styles beats him. Then AJ Styles, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, AJ beats him, and then Ricochet is set up for a United States Championship match. At the end of all this, AJ Styles wins the United States Championship, and Ricochet looks like a loser. How you have Ricochet to take the United States Championship off of Samoa Joe, someone who could really elevate that title, and then have him drop it immediately in like 3 weeks to AJ Styles. The reason why AJ Styles won the United States Championship is because they wanted the visual of the OC, which I'm hearing WWE got Fox blessing on that. WWE actually went to Fox for the OC name. Is it okay we use this? Because back in the early 2000s, the OC was a drama series on Fox, like 90210. So they got Fox's blessing for that. I like it. I enjoyed it. Whatever. They got a cool logo. It rolls off the tongue better than the Club. The Club sounds so generic. It's like you can't let go of fucking the Bullet Club, which is dead right now anyway. But the OC. And they wanted the visual of the OC as champions in WWE. Oh, look at us. You got the New Day on SmackDown Live. We need our own version of the New Day here on Monday Night Raw. So AJ Styles is the U.S. champion, and the OC, Gallows and Anderson, are tag team champions. It's lame. It's fucking lame. Now, the one change I would have made to this match, outside of the 3 regular matches we've seen with these guys already, it should have been a ladder match. Remember the ladder match in 1990, was it 1990... I want to say 1996 SummerSlam with, or 1995. It might have been 95 or 96. I forgot. With Shawn Michaels and Razor Ramon. It was a rematch from their WrestleMania 10 ladder match. We have not had a great ladder match at SummerSlam in a very long time. In a one-on-one match. I'm not talking about the tag team warfare matches with the Dudleys and the Hardys, Edge and Christian. A good old-fashioned one-on-one ladder match in the same style as Shawn Michaels and Razor Ramon. This is what I wanted this match to be. Because even if Ricochet lost, at least he wouldn't have been taking a pinfall. I don't know what's going to happen here. I really don't. It doesn't make sense to take the title off Ricochet in 3 weeks and then have him turn around in 2 weeks and win the fucking title back. What sense does that make? Why was he even beaten in the first place? Because it diminishes his title reign. That just goes to show you that WWE is clueless. Not only at long-term booking, but they don't know what to do with Ricochet, and they have no value for title reigns. They suck at booking babyface title reigns. I'm going with AJ Styles. Because I can't even fathom 2 things. Them taking the title off of him so quick in a one-on-one match, even though it would make sense for Ricochet to win and hold the title, but I could see this being dragged out. I could see them dragging this out. I cannot see the visual of WWE not having the OC as champions, and I honestly don't think WWE has any plans for Ricochet whatsoever. I don't. I'm going with AJ Styles here, and I honestly think he's going to have a reign, and this is going to continue, with Ricochet ending this thing, eventually winning the United States Championship. You know? Now, AJ defeated Ricochet for the United States Championship with the help of the OC. They'll probably end up getting involved. They're going to be on this show, even though they don't have an actual match on the show. They will be here. More than likely, they will be getting involved in this thing. And I could see a ladder match eventually being born from this, but it should have been at SummerSlam, and WWE dropped the ball on that. So AJ won the title with the help of the OC. He's going to get help from the OC to retain the title, and Rey Mysterio with Cesaro, Sammy, Andrade, he defeated Ricochet, did all four of those guys in a gauntlet match to even be here. Which in itself did not make any sense whatsoever, because what the fuck does Rey Mysterio, Cesaro, Sami Zayn, and Andrade have to do with the United States Championship? I don't get it. Andrade's a SmackDown guy. Sammy is a loser. Cesaro lost to Aleister Black twice, and Rey Mysterio is a fucking pushover. He lost to Bobby Lashley in 60 seconds and then got destroyed by Dolph Ziggler on SmackDown Live. Some contender for the United States Championship. That's why Ricochet is here. That's why AJ Styles won the title. And I'm going with AJ. I think WWE should let these guys go and give us a 20-minute classic in Toronto. I want to see a TakeOver-esque main event. TakeOver's got Gargano and Cole. I don't think anything on this show is going to even rival that. And we'll talk about that at some point this week. But I want to see this match achieve that height. This needs to be SummerSlam's Gargano and Cole. And it should be. And there's no reason why it shouldn't be with the amount of talent in this match alone. I'm going with AJ to retain the United States Championship. Finn Balor versus Bray Wyatt. Now, Bray Wyatt is the one thing out of everything on this show that I'm looking forward to the most. Bray Wyatt. I want to see what theme music WWE has concocted for him. I want to see how great his entrance is. This may be the biggest pop of the entire night. This may be the best visual of the entire night. This may be the most important thing on this show all night. Not a WWE title, not a Universal Championship, not a Trish Stratus and Charlotte Flair. This. Because this is the best thing on WWE television right now, and they cannot afford to drop the ball on Bray Wyatt. The simple, effective way of booking Bray Wyatt is so fucking easy. WWE, there's no reason why they should drop the ball. Win, dominate, Kane. 1997 Kane is what we need to see here. Remember when Kane made his entrance in the fucking Hell in a Cell match with Shawn Michaels and The Undertaker? That's the type of fucking presence he needs. That's what he needs to feel like. Anything outside that is a fucking failure. Simple. Finn Balor. I've heard reports, I've read reports, Finn Balor's going away. Finn Balor needs to take a hiatus. He is just exhausted. And that's why we haven't seen a lot of him. He was at Smackville. I believe he was at... Oh, well, he was supposed to be at Smackville, and then he got a 24-hour bug, so he wasn't at Smackville. He was on Monday Night Raw to help build this feud with Bray Wyatt. And that's all we've seen of him. We've seen him cut a promo, and that was it. Had a match with Dolph Ziggler. Bray Wyatt interfered. He wasn't really in the ring. He was standing on the entrance ramp. Finn Balor got distracted. He lost to Dolph Ziggler in about 6 minutes. 6 or 7 minutes. That's all we've seen of Finn Balor. Finn Balor has really done nothing to make you believe he's going to win this match. This is one of the more predictable matches here. But what I would have happen, seriously, Finn Balor going into this and hearing Bray Wyatt talk about how Finn Balor is masking his insecurities and how Finn Balor is underestimating The Fiend and that Finn Balor has asked foolishly for this match with The Fiend. He doesn't know what he's getting himself into. All of this kind of lends to WWE giving Finn Balor the demon at SummerSlam. And that's exactly what I would do. Finn Balor cannot show up to SummerSlam dressed as Finn Balor. Finn Balor needs to show up as the demon. We need to see the demon and the Fiend in the ring if this is what they're doing. It's too late. I would have never done this with Bray Wyatt anyway. This is not the direction I would have went. This is very stereotypical fucking generic booking by WWE. We got the Fiend. He wears the mask. How about we put him against the demon? Because he wears face paint and he looks like Finn Balor and Bray Wyatt. They look similar. You know? I could see them doing that. That's exactly the fucking creative meeting in WWE. But Finn Balor cannot show up to this being Finn Balor the man. He can't. There's nothing extraordinary by Finn Balor standards that's going to help him take down Bray Wyatt. He can't. He's already been manipulated. The demon is what's going to at least challenge Bray Wyatt. And I would do this with the visual of the demon in the ring and Bray Wyatt dominating to a point where it's downright fucking scary. John Cena, Brock Lesnar like scary. The demon, dead. WWE doesn't value the demon character. They don't. Otherwise, they would have used it in situations. If Bobby Lashley's worth the fucking demon, then Bray Wyatt's worth the demon. If Baron Corbin's worth the fucking demon at last year's SummerSlam, then why isn't Bray Wyatt worth the demon? I don't get it. Doesn't make sense to me if you think of it that way. Have the demon come out, have Bray Wyatt dominate like Kane against the demon, and kill the demon. Not only is it going to be like, oh my God, Bray Wyatt just beats the demon. Something that's never been done on the main roster, outside of Samoa Joe and NXT, by the way. But nobody's ever beat the demon. Finn Balor goes away. AJ Styles welcomes him with open arms, and boom. We have a 4-man piece in the OC. The original club. Which it, at that point, will be. Because Finn Balor had everything to do with the original club. I'm going with Bray Wyatt. Clearly, everybody's going with Bray Wyatt, but I'm going to include the Demon here. I think the Demon's going to come out. I think the Demon's the right way. The visual of Bray Wyatt standing over the Demon like this is a visual that is going to set Bray Wyatt apart from everybody else and give him that fucking push into the stratosphere where he belongs. They cannot drop the ball with this. And if WWE is smart, that's what they would do here in this match. End it quick. End it quick. It's all going to be visual. The entire match is going to be based on visuals. Entrance for both. The stare down between both. The match itself is not going to be important. It's the least important thing. And then the visual of Bray Wyatt standing over a dead demon at the end of this thing. And then Finn Balor goes away. And then, like I said, the OC, Styles, Balor, get back together and reform the OC with Gallows and Anderson. Done. Simple as that. Bray Wyatt, mandible claw. That's it. Mandible claw. Tap out, pass out, whatever. Submission. Bray Wyatt's going to win against Finn Balor. We're going to get right into the Kevin Owens, Shane McMahon. We got a lot more to go over. Kingston and Randy Orton. Bayley, Ember Moon. Becky Lynch, Natalya, and Rollins versus Lesnar. Still to come. Don't go anywhere, guys. I got to shout out my good buddy Sal Rax because he is one of the guys outside of Mikey, Mike Will 87. Sal Rax does the weekly stuff here. Mikey helps him with the pay-per-view layouts. But Sal Rax is such a talented guy, man, and he is now doing what he does full-time. He's taking his graphics designs and his services full-time. So if you guys need anything as far as logos, banners, flyers, thumbnails, album covers, mixtape covers, t-shirt designs, YouTube channel revamps, it's only a DM away, folks. His DMs are open. SRX GFX. Two things here, guys. If you are a cheap imitation of me, he will not reply to you. You are a fucking loser. Number two, if you guys think that Sal Rax works for free, and I know you're listening to me out there, the people who hit him up asking, well, do I gotta pay? Nobody does something as good as Sal Rax for free. Okay? Don't you hear Heath Ledger in Batman when he was playing the Joker and dominating fucking Gotham City? Never do something that you're good at for free. You know? The Joker wanted a cut. That's what he wants. I'm going to deliver the bat. That's what I want to be paid. Sal Rax wants to be paid, folks. He doesn't do anything for free. So we got the Straight Edge Gaming podcast, YouTube channel. We got the Life Coach Juggernaut Show, the Enhancement Talent podcast, Near Fall podcast, obviously the Salamonster, Jason Solomon, House of Glory Wrestling. He also works with, on top of what he does right here on Off the Script. Remember, guys, Sal Rax is around if you need him. SRX GFX. Hit him up if you guys need anything here for your YouTube channel, or if you're a musician, you know, mixtape covers, album covers, banners, flyers, logos. He does it all. Hit him up. Just a DM away. Shout out to him, and thank you for everything that you've done right here on Off the Script. I really enjoy what WWE is doing with Kevin Owens. I don't like that they are trying to make him into a Stone Cold wannabe, but I more so like the direction that he's going in because it feels renewed, it feels refreshed, and it's finally giving Kevin Owens a certain priority on these shows where he was looked at in the same vein as Sami Zayn. He was looked at as a loser. He was looked at as a pushover, someone who couldn't get the job done, someone who had great promo ability but just couldn't win the big one. He couldn't win that big match. And I'm glad that he is in a featured match at SummerSlam. I just don't like the featured match that they have him in and who he's going one-on-one with, because this shouldn't even be a thing. Shane McMahon should not even be a thing. This has gone on. If you even want to go all the way back to this shit, Shane McMahon and The Miz and the Best in the World and the tag team that became Shane McMahon and The Miz started in November of 2018 during Crown Jewel. We've been going on for almost a year now with Shane McMahon on television. Shane McMahon has had more TV time than 50% of the roster currently right now that's not being used. Shane McMahon's the biggest heel in WWE, whether you want to believe that or not. He's the biggest heel in WWE. Both in reaction, not in a good way, both in reaction and how he is portrayed on television. He is the biggest heel. There is no heel outside of Shane McMahon that even comes close to acting like him. Shane McMahon's getting heel reactions, but it's not the right heel reactions. It's more of, where's the remote, bitch? I need to change this fucking channel. Continue making me dinner! Shane McMahon's pissing me off enough! Asshole! That type of heat. That's the type of heat that Shane McMahon's getting. It's not the type of heat like a Tommaso Ciampa, you know, where you love him, you appreciate him, you know he's gonna get ready to give you a fucking 5-star classic, but you want to see the motherfucker lose. You want to see him lose. You know? That's the type of heel we need. Not what we're getting with Shane McMahon. Now, this entire situation started off with what I mentioned, that crown jewel. And Kevin Owens became furious after everything that Shane McMahon had been doing, abusing his power. They brought to light all the shit that the internet keeps complaining about. And for the people who want to say, oh, well, WWE doesn't listen. They don't listen to losers like JD from NY. Yeah, they do. Of course they do. They listen and read everything on YouTube and social media, man. They know. They know. There's no way WWE and their social media department is not seeing a tweet by me that generates 1,000 likes and is bitching about the fucking truth of this company. There's no way that they're not seeing it. They're definitely seeing it. And they know everyone is pissed. So they use the fuel that everybody has fucking collected on social media in hating this Shane McMahon storyline, and they're using it to mock you. They're using it to mock you. Oh, Buddy Murphy hasn't gotten TV time. Where's the Oscars and the Kairi Sanes and the Apollo Cruises? You know? Shane McMahon is abusing his power. He's got more TV time than all these individuals combined. This is WWE mocking you, and they don't plan on changing it. Even they know they're abusing their fucking situation here with Shane McMahon. They're bringing it to light, and they're doing nothing to change it, nor will they. They're mocking you. They're mocking their audience because they think that their fans are fucking stupid. They think that it's cool television because they're bringing reality into it. Oh, look, they're listening to the fans and they're using the real-life issues of the show to make it a storyline. But it's mocking you. Unless Shane is fucking exiled forever off this television show. And on Monday. And on Sunday. Then what was all this for? What was all this for? So Kevin Owens is upset that Shane McMahon is taking up more TV time each and every week and having more power each and every week. And they even went back to the December episode, which I still find to be one of the most comedic scenes in WWE history. Where Stephanie and Shane and Vince and Triple H were all there looking into the camera. We know we haven't been doing a good job. They wanted a cheap ratings pop. They wanted the buzz. So when everybody was talking about, oh, look, WWE's going to change, they went right back to what they were doing, and they did not offer any change whatsoever. If you think Vince McMahon is going to change, you're fucking mental. If you think Shane McMahon is the change that was the one that was needed, you're mental. WWE, the only thing that they changed was going from bad to worse since that fucking promo, that comedic fucking promo that they all cut. Oh, we haven't been doing a good job. You are the authority now. Yeah, blow me. Blow me. Give me the fucking pen and give me the SmackDown Live roster. I'd do wonders with it. Anyway, they even brought up that. So they're really diving into the fucking cookie jar head first here, trying to pull out whatever fucking scraps they can for this storyline. So, despite Shane McMahon and his attempts to get rid of Kevin Owens, Owens wanted to take care of Shane McMahon so badly that he says if he couldn't do it, he would quit at SummerSlam. Meanwhile, I came on here and said, well, that doesn't make sense because why does Kevin Owens need to put his career on the line when it's the one in Shane McMahon that we don't want? Now, it kind of makes everything a little bit too predictable here. Shane McMahon should have been the one to have a stipulation, or he should have agreed to a stipulation because he's Shane McMahon. He's the best in the world. He's a McMahon, so he could do whatever he wants. He could change the rules on the fly. He could have fucking a timekeeper, a fucking butler on the outside dressed as Elias. You know? He could weasel himself into any situation and give himself the unfair advantage. Shane McMahon and his standing on SmackDown Live should have been on the line as well. Kevin Owens, not so much. If Kevin Owens can't beat Shane McMahon, then he's gone from SmackDown Live. Put him back down in NXT. I'm sure NXT would welcome him with open arms for 6 months. You know? Shane McMahon's career and his standing on SmackDown Live should have been on the line. They brought it up on this go-home show, but they never materialized that into anything. Shane McMahon says, I'm going to have to give you an emphatic no on that. Because why would I do that? You know? So then Kevin Owens is like, well, all these risks and dives and fucking death-defying acts that Shane McMahon has shown us throughout the years, it looks like that Shane McMahon has no fucking balls. And that's exactly what he said. So at the end of all this, we got a match at SummerSlam where if Kevin Owens loses, he would quit WWE. And Shane obviously accepted. Now, this is a predictable outcome because nobody believes Kevin Owens is quitting WWE. Nobody believes that Kevin Owens is leaving WWE in any way, shape, or form. He's not going to AEW. He's not going anywhere. He's a 5-year fucking lifer in WWE as of this year. I don't think this match is going to be a typical one-on-one match. You're going to see all the bells and whistles in this one, folks, because he's looking across the ring from Shane McMahon. Meaning we're going to see Drew McIntyre. Meaning we're going to see Elias. Meaning we're going to see every fucking cheap tactic in Toronto to create some sort of intrigue where right now they have none. So they're going to have to resort to the bells and whistles. I could see a situation where someone comes to help Kevin Owens. Who that is, I don't know. I genuinely don't know. I could see The Undertaker showing up. The Undertaker's not advertised. But why would you have him at Super Showdown, have him at Extreme Rules, and then not have him at SummerSlam? To kind of put the kibosh on all this, Shane McMahon could take full advantage and be on his way to beating Kevin Owens, and then the lights go out, and Shane McMahon can change the rules along the way. No DQ. Undertaker shows up after the fucking lights come back on. Tombstone. Kevin Owens gets the stunner. 1, 2, 3, and that's pretty much it. I could see something happening like that. But in the end of it all, however they book this thing, the fucking circus that I'm sure it's going to be, Kevin Owens is going to win. And you'd think that we would see less than we have of Shane McMahon, and the answer is going to be no. Shane's going to lose this match, and he'll be right back on SmackDown Live on Tuesday. Just because WWE wants to, once again, go back and mock you on SmackDown Live. That's what's going to happen. Kevin Owens is going to win. It's going to be a great reaction. The one thing I'm going to be really paying close attention to is the reaction of Kevin Owens in Toronto. I know he's from Montreal, but it's going to be a great reaction nonetheless because he is Canadian. So I can't wait to see that out of everything in this match. Other than that, I don't really give a shit. Kevin Owens is going to win in a very predictable match. How we get there, that's where the fun is going to be. And I don't think it's going to be that much fun. It's just going to be more cringe and more circus. And just get off my TV already and give me a fucking Buddy Murphy and an Ali and an Oscar and a Kairi Sane and an Apollo Crews and a War Raiders, please. And a Heavy Machinery. Please. Book the talent that you called up and book the talent that you got and make them into stars instead of 51-year-old or however old, 50, 49, Shane McMahon. Enough. Enough is enough. Kofi Kingston, Randy Orton, WWE Championship. This one was very lazy and lackadaisical, folks. July 23rd, Kofi Kingston chose Randy Orton as his SummerSlam opponent, put the title on the line. Kofi then referenced their 2009 feud when Kingston had defeated Randy Orton. They used clips from Madison Square Garden with Kofi Kingston jumping off the stands in the crowd, through a table, through Randy Orton. They showed clips of him dumping orange paint all over Randy Orton's sports car. It was great. They referenced the old feud that these two had. Randy Orton said he used his influence to keep Kofi Kingston out of the main event scene all these years. All these years. I am Randy Orton. I didn't need to dance around and shake my ass and throw pancakes. I am where I am. I was the legend killer. I main evented WrestleMania. I am a multi-time world champion because of who I am. I am Randy Orton. I didn't need to do all that. I didn't need to do anything because I'm Randy Orton. Kofi Kingston then gives him a rebuttal saying that Randy Orton used his negativity to hold people down. He didn't really use his power for anything. Meanwhile, Kofi Kingston used his power to bring light to people's lives, to bring positivity to people's lives. And Randy Orton's influence, his influence only aided Randy Orton and nobody else. So that's where they went with this. Randy Orton says Kofi Kingston is an underachiever, or an overachiever, rather. He's an overachiever. He is a fluke. He is a sham. He would never be where he is without Randy Orton. You wouldn't even be WWE Champion without me, because I was the one who took out Ali. And they chose you to be in that spot, and you took the ball and ran with it. You wouldn't even be there if it wasn't for me. It makes sense. Out of everything on this show, the 3 weeks of build, out of everything on this entire show, this is the one match that really makes the most sense, even though it had just as much time as the other matches to be built. Because they actually have a legitimate storyline here. They could go back to 2009. They have a legitimate storyline. They could go back to February. Randy Orton legitimately took out Mustafa Ali, broke his fucking nose, gave him a fucking eyeball and a concussion, eyeball injury, concussion. Took him out. That was supposed to be Mustafa Ali. It was supposed to be Mustafa Ali's time. Looking back at it, I'm glad it worked out the way it did, because I don't think we would look at Ali the same as we see him now. We want to see him succeed. We want to see him more. I think people would have gotten tired of Mustafa Ali, and I don't think WWE is really in a good place to book babyface champions. They book Kofi, okay, but I don't think they would have done the same or anywhere close with Mustafa Ali as WWE champion. I just don't. They fucked up Seth Rollins. Can you imagine what they would have done with Mustafa Ali? I'm glad it didn't happen. We got a great WrestleMania moment out of it anyway with Kofi Kingston, but I love where they went with this storyline. Randy Orton says, stupid, stupid, stupid. You're stupid. He was stupid then and stupid now for picking me as your SummerSlam opponent. Kofi Kingston says, you said stupid, 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 but I'm going to show you who the real stupid one is when I win and retain my WWE Championship at SummerSlam. Everybody is in favor of Randy Orton here. Kofi Kingston's title reign is inevitably coming to an end. Whether it happens at SummerSlam or whether it happens at the next pay-per-view, which I believe is Clash of Champions, I assume. But we all know that WWE is going to want a major household name going into Fox Sports. They're going to be on Channel 5 here in New York, okay? And whatever your Fox affiliate is, wherever you guys live, it's Fox 5 here. Vince McMahon wants someone like Randy Orton, which I've heard for years. You look at Randy Orton, he's the perfect pro wrestler. He's a household name. Everybody knows Randy Orton. The women love Randy Orton. So Vince is going to want Randy Orton. He's a tired and true, trusted guy, right? They're not going to have someone debut on Fox, throwing fucking pancakes, stuffing pancakes in his fucking pants, throwing pancakes into the crowd, gyrating his fucking ass, making sexual innuendos while wearing a fucking unicorn crown. They're not going to do none of that. Kofi's not going into Fox as the WWE champion. If he doesn't win here, Randy Orton, then Randy Orton's absolutely 100%, no doubt about it, like the sky is fucking blue, going to win the title at the next pay-per-view. But why would you wait that long? Why would you wait that long? If you beat Randy Orton, what is the basis of Randy Orton getting another title shot if he loses clean? Or unless there's a fuck finish, which I don't want to see, because that's generic. Why would you give me a fuck finish only to have it happen again? If it's inevitable, do it now. Get it over with. Pull the fucking Band-Aid off. I don't want to see Kofi as champion anymore. It's tired. How many more times can we see our WWE champion throwing fucking pancakes? I am over it. It's not entertaining anymore. He's had his ride. It was a decent one. Be fortunate that it happened. Be fortunate that it happened. And be lucky that it even lasted this long. Because I didn't give it till Money in the Bank. And then when he got through Money in the Bank, I'm like, it's got to be SummerSlam. It's going to happen. Whether it's Sunday or the next show. Pull it off. Pull it off. If Randy Orton loses, the only way he gets another title shot is by a fuck finish. And I don't see how that makes anybody look good. Kofi has had a great ride. An honorable loss to Randy Orton will not damage Kofi Kingston. A loss to Randy Orton is not going to drop Kofi Kingston down in the eyes of everybody. He was a valiant fighting, defending champion. People say that he's the greatest WWE champion of all time. I laugh. I want to be known as the greatest WWE champion of all time. Bro, you got absolutely no business saying anything like that. It's not going to happen. It's not going to matter if he loses. If Randy Orton loses, I think it hurts Randy Orton more than it does Kofi Kingston. If he loses. Randy Orton needs to win. Simple as that. I'm going with Randy Orton, and I'm going with an RKO. RKO, simple, 1, 2, 3, pin him, new champion. I don't know what you guys think about Kofi. I'm kind of over the entire thing. Not to say that I want Randy Orton to be the WWE champion, but in this instance, knowing that we are this much closer to Fox, I'm thinking how WWE would think. And there's nothing wrong with me thinking that because more than likely they're thinking the same thing. I'm going with Randy Orton. He's your new WWE champion. Bayley versus Ember Moon for the SmackDown Live Women's Championship. Bayley has not really been that good of a champion. WWE clearly had no plans for Bayley by having her cash in at Money in the Bank. She's had matches with Alexa Bliss. I'm falling asleep just saying the name Alexa Bliss. She's had matches with Nikki Cross. Nothing memorable there. Bayley really hasn't had a good run as women's champion, but I know who's not going to be the women's champion after SummerSlam, and that is Ember Moon. There are reports that Vince McMahon doesn't like Ember Moon. He's not a big fan of Ember Moon. I also got a full list of people in WWE that Vince McMahon also doesn't like. We'll talk about that on Saturday. Ember Moon was put in this situation because Charlotte was already in the plans for Trish Stratus. So WWE had nobody else, folks. Bayley versus Carmella? I'm falling asleep already. Bayley versus Naomi? Spare me. Naomi's done nothing to even say World Championship. Bayley versus Nikki Cross or Bayley versus Alexa Bliss. WWE ran through that and gave us that not only when Bayley was This Is Your Life, but we've seen it how many times already this year in the middle of this title reign. Mickie James is hurt. We have Lana, Dana Brooke. Yeah, sure. Yeah, sure. The only championship Dana Brooke is going to see is in the fucking catering department with her plaque on the fucking wall. How many green beans can one eat in one sitting? Who else do they got? Ruby Riot's hurt. Sarah Logan. Nobody gives a shit. Liv Morgan. Nobody gives a shit. There's nobody else. Ember Moon, by process of elimination, is the only one. Because she's the only one that is kind of believable and at the same time really hasn't gotten an opportunity. Fans are on her side. Fans want to see her get an opportunity. So by default, it looks like a good match. But why is she here? Ember Moon's done nothing to get a title shot. WWE hasn't done a good job at all making Ember Moon look good. That Alexa Bliss pin Ember Moon 2 weeks ago. How does that make any sense? And then after the pin by Alexa Bliss, Bayley to bellied her. Yeah, some fucking champion that you got there. Then WWE books Ember Moon and Natalya, and Ember Moon takes a fucking sharpshooter, and the referee counts out Natalya because she won't let go of the sharpshooter. Yeah, Ember Moon's going to win the WWE Smackdown Live Women's title. Yeah, sure. Vince is not a fan of Ember Moon. So why would he have Ember Moon win the Women's Championship unless he doesn't give a fuck about the SmackDown division whatsoever? He's not a fan of Ember Moon because of her skin color, folks. This is the reason. And I don't say this because I'm trying to be cool or edgy. This is the reason. Bayley is going to win this match. And I've said it once, I'm going to say it again. If you give these women 15 minutes, they could possibly have the best women's match of the year. That's how good these two are. But WWE doesn't care because they are not blonde. I don't know how many more times I got to say it. Bayley's going to win. Ember Moon is not going to be the women's champion. If she is, I would be absolutely fucking shocked. And if she is, it's going to be a quick turnaround. Charlotte will probably get a fucking title match on Tuesday and then win the championship from Ember Moon, and Charlotte will be our new women's champion. God forbid. I'm going with Bayley because the money match is Bayley and Charlotte, and that's where Charlotte will be 9-time Android Queen on SmackDown Live. Moving on. Bayley is going to retain the women's championship. Just like Becky is going to retain the Raw Women's Championship against Natalya. Yes, I'm going with Becky Lynch. Because the SmackDown Live women's division is one thing, but you need the Raw women's division to be the catalyst. You need to be upfront and honest with yourself on Monday Night Raw with the women's division. It is fucking garbage. Absolute garbage. Natalya and Becky Lynch. I could see a few things happening here. Sasha Banks, I read today, is on the verge of coming back, just like she was at Money in the Bank, just like she was at Extreme Rules. The rumors continue to swirl every single month. Nobody knows what's going to happen with Sasha Banks. Let me hit up Makaze and ask. He's the only one that fucking knows. All right? That's it. Becky Lynch and Natalya, submission match. WWE potentially booked themselves into a corner here. Can't have Becky tap out unless, and I don't even want to say unless, because they just announced Becky Lynch as the cover star for WWE 2K20. So I don't see her losing just based off that aspect alone. Unless WWE knows that Becky Lynch's title reign is fading into obscurity right now and they want to hit the reset button. Maybe they want to hit the reset button, have Natalya win in her hometown, tap out Becky Lynch, and have Becky Lynch chase the title again and start all over because they know they fucked up with Becky Lynch, Lacey Evans, Alexa Bliss, Nikki Cross, and all these other fucking women that don't belong anywhere near a fucking wrestling ring. Maybe that's the case. I don't think that's the case, but maybe they're thinking that. That's a last-ditch effort. The fact that they announced Becky Lynch on the cover of 2K20, I don't see her losing. I really don't. And what I would have happen here is I would actually have Becky. Now, I don't know if a submission match really has a DQ or a DQ finish. WWE changes the rules as they go. I don't really know. I would assume not. Submission match, right? I'm thinking back to Shawn Michaels versus... Oh, not Shawn Michaels. I'm thinking back to Bret Hart versus Stone Cold Steve Austin, WrestleMania 13 submission match. There was no rules. Bells were being fucking tossed in the ring. Chairs were being tossed into the ring. Austin got busted open by hitting himself on the fucking steel barricade by going into the timekeeper's area. Right? Bret Hart was taking the fucking... The camera cable and tying him up. There's no DQ. Now, I don't know how they're booking this. This is one thing that I could say I don't know. I don't have a clear answer for this. Can I see Ronda Rousey come back at SummerSlam and interject herself in this match? Absolutely, I could. Paul Heyman wants Ronda back on Raw. Ronda seemingly wants to come back. I'm assuming Ronda is more excited to come back now that Paul Heyman is in charge, being that Paul Heyman is going to be directly working with Ronda Rousey. So I could see that happening. I could see Sasha Banks coming back and helping Becky Lynch here before an inevitable heel turn. I could see Shayna Baszler showing up here with Ronda Rousey. I could see a multitude of things. I don't know how to piece all this together. I don't even know how I would book this. But I'm going with Becky Lynch, and I'm going with her tapping out Natty. Natty's going to get a big hometown crowd reaction and ovation. This is probably more than likely the last time Natty's going to get a title shot. This might be one of her last times ever in a title match. Might be her swan song. I don't know. But all I know is she'll come close, but she's not going to win the title. I'm going with Becky Lynch. I say we see Ronda. Ronda has history with Natty. Ronda clearly has history with Becky. I could see Sasha coming back. This would be a perfect situation for Sasha to come back, unless they want to save Sasha and Baszler for Monday, and we get Ronda on Sunday. That would be a nice 1-2-3 combination. But I think we see Ronda Rousey here. I really do. I could see a situation. Now, I'm fantasy booking this. I'm seeing this situation. I'm fantasy booking this. Let me know if you guys like this. I'm going back to a 1994 scenario here with Bret Hart and Bob Backlund. The incident in which Owen Hart threw in the towel. And he begged Martha Hart at the time to throw it in. And Martha was about to do it. Bret was there. He didn't want nothing to happen. He wasn't going to tap out. He was in the chicken wing for about 7, 8, 9, 10 minutes. He was bleeding. Blood vessels were popping in his face. Owen took the towel and threw it in. Bob Backlund. He didn't know what was going on. Looking at his hands, he wins the title. Bob Backlund won the WWF Championship from Bret Hart in one of the most controversial endings to a championship match in the history of this company. And then he lost it to Diesel at Madison Square Garden a week later in 8 seconds. I could see a situation like that. I could really see a situation like that. I could see Becky having to disarm her on Natty, just like Natalya has gotten the sharpshooter on everybody, even Becky, and relinquished the hold only due to force. I could see Becky turning around and doing the same thing to Natty with the disarmor and not letting go. I could see Natty. You want to build Natty up as a fucking beast in her hometown. You don't want her immediately to tap out. You don't want her to tap out at all in front of her hometown crowd. It's not what I would do. It's not what I'm about. WWE would do that because fuck the hometown advantage. They'll embarrass you in your hometown. But Becky does the same thing to Natty, but she doesn't let go of the hold. But in this case, it's within Becky's right to keep that hold on. Natty's got to tap out. It's the only way she's going to lose. Either that or pass out. We see Ronda. We see Ronda Rousey. And she has a similar situation where she either coerces Natty to tap out, has a towel, throws in the towel, and Becky wins and retains the title. And Ronda does that not only because Natty was the one who trained her. She was mentioned. She was mentioned in this entire feud. But Ronda wants to be the one to take her title back from Becky. It's not going to be the same if she takes the title from Natty. She wants it to be against Becky. I could see that being the ending. I doubt that's what WWE is going to do, but I'd like to see that. Something along those lines. Becky can't tap out unless WWE wants to hit a hard reset and have her chase, which I don't think is the right decision. I could see it, but I don't think it's the right decision. I don't see them taking the title of Becky, being that she was announced as the Raw or the women's, cover, women's champion on the cover of the video game. I can't see that happening. So this is the best outcome. Natty looks strong, doesn't tap out. Ronda helps by forcing a victory here for Becky because she wants to take the title of Becky and not Natty. Becky's going to win. However we get there, it's going to be fun. Got to be creative. I hope WWE makes the right decision here, so we'll see. But a women's division on Monday Night Raw of Ronda, Becky, Sasha, and Shayna? We don't know, man. We'll find out. Becky's going to win. I think she retains the women's championship. Brock Lesnar and Seth Rollins. This is the one match that I hope is quick and painless and painful for Seth Rollins. I don't give a shit about this whatsoever. Lesnar disappeared from TV, came back at Money in the Bank, won the Money in the Bank briefcase, and did absolutely nothing. Came back as Boombox Brock, dancing along to the fucking briefcase. He even turned the briefcase into a fucking boombox. Then, after some teasing of some cash-ins, Lesnar finally cashed in his Money in the Bank contract at Extreme Rules during a mixed tag team match with winner take all. I didn't want to remind you guys because it was awful, but Baron Corbin and Lacey Evans challenged Becky Lynch and Seth Rollins. Becky Lynch and Seth Rollins won after a beautiful end of days. I was going to say day's end of days. On Becky Lynch, Seth Rollins got pissed. Curb stomp, 1, 2, 3, all over. After that, Becky was on the outside, completely out of it, selling the end of days. Brock Lesnar cashes in. And on the following night's Raw, Rollins won a 10-man battle royal to earn a rematch against Lesnar at SummerSlam. Wow, what intrigue. What intrigue, folks. I'm so excited about this match. Said nobody ever. So then we had the match announced. Raw Reunion comes July 22nd. Lesnar's advocate Paul Heyman slated that Lesnar's cash in on Rollins was because Rollins had done the same thing to Lesnar back at WrestleMania 31. Had to mention that in my notes. Then we got the ambulance beatdown. Rollins spitting up blood. They're carting him off on a gurney into the ambulance. The ambulance is seized by Brock Lesnar. Lesnar pulls the gurney out of the ambulance. Unties Rollins off the gurney. Gives him an F5 on the gurney. On the metal part of the gurney. Turned upside down. Rollins comes out the next week. Selling his injuries. Limping as if he was a fucking castmate on The Walking Dead. Comes out with a steel chair. Shows us how much of a fucking idiot he really is. And then he proceeds to get beat down again by Brock Lesnar. And I didn't want it to stop. Lesnar walks away because he's done so much, like, what else do I got to do to this guy for him to understand? Walks away. Flick of the wrist. Rollins gets on the microphone and says, I love this company. I'm going to SummerSlam or something along those lines. You ever love something so much that it makes you obsessed to a point where you just want it to be a success, or, you can't get enough of it? He wants the Universal title. He wants his company to be his. Says at SummerSlam, no matter how I'm feeling, I'm going to beat Brock Lesnar. You can guarantee it. Blah, 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 blah. Seth Rollins was met with what? 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 What chance? People on social media cringing at Seth Rollins' promo. How the mighty have fallen. His stock is the lowest it's ever been. And I ranted on it, and I don't really want to rant again because I want to get the hell out of here. But Rollins in 2018 was the best thing on WWE television. They fucked him up. They put him through the ringer with The Miz, and his IC title reign was fucking great. He won the title at WrestleMania. Then they put him in a match in a feud against Dolph Ziggler. That ruined him. Ambrose came back. That ruined him. Rollins was behind Reigns before the leukemia thing. They got the Shield back together to shield Reigns from the negative reaction coming out of SummerSlam last year. That ruined him. A match with Ambrose and a shitty Dean Ambrose character ruined him. Wins the Royal Rumble. It's the right decision at the time. He won the title at WrestleMania. Right decision at the time. We all thought that Rollins was going to achieve the fucking greatness that we knew he had in him. Baron Corbin, Lacey Evans. That shit ruined him. Becky Lynch and the relationship of those two between Rollins and Becky made it to TV. That ruined him. Bitch, pussy, and some fucking weak snowflake is what Seth Rollins became. All of this ruined. All of this accumulated and ruined Seth Rollins. To a point now where Rollins, even if he wins the title, is going to do more harm than good. Nobody believes in Seth Rollins anymore. I don't get what the whole purpose of this was. I don't understand what the purpose of this was. You cannot take someone like Seth Rollins and do this back-to-back weeks and have anybody believe. Especially with what he said, crying and moaning on the fucking microphone. He came off like a fucking whining bitch. Came off as a loser. Now, I don't know what Toronto's going to do. I don't live in Toronto. I don't know what type of wrestling fan they are or what type of show they're ready for. But all I know is they're a fucking mark crowd. And if you have someone like Lesnar doing what he did to Rollins back-to-back weeks, why would anyone go with the sniveling pussy in Rollins over a dominating beast in Brock Lesnar? I think people want to see Lesnar more than anything put Rollins out of his misery. Rollins either needs to do one of two things. One, go away, or two, become a heel. Simple than that. Or simple scenario. You can't get any more simple than that. I am over Rollins. Him winning the world title is actually going to do more harm than good. People are going to turn him into the new Roman Reigns. Remember when Roman Reigns was the world champion? Now people they rejected him. They threw all these negative remarks in him. Hatred everywhere for all the wrong reasons. That's what's going to happen to Rollins here. If Brock Lesnar doesn't win this match, I'm going to be very disappointed. Because what can Rollins do and who can he feud with outside of Brock Lesnar on Monday Night Raw? Maybe Bray Wyatt? And at that point, no one's going to go for Seth Rollins. There's nobody else on Monday Night Raw that you can even feud him with. The way the landscape is on Monday Night Raw, believe it or not, Brock Lesnar being the champion probably makes more sense. Because there's one other guy that you could book against Brock Lesnar. Even though right now there is nobody. You had Rollins beat him, and then you gave the title right back to Brock. So even if Brock wins, who is there on Monday night to take the title off of him? Brock isn't even that big. He isn't even that big. He's not a ratings draw. Not like he used to be. Nobody's tuning in to watch this fucking guy on Monday night or tuning into the network to watch him on pay-per-view. He might have the name value, but it's not really generating into network subscriptions or fucking ratings on Monday night. He isn't all that. This isn't the Brock Lesnar that we seen back when he beat The Undertaker for the streak. This Lesnar has been through it all and he's beaten everybody. There's no one else. If he wins, who does he go up against? There's only one man, folks. And if WWE wants to continue having Lesnar as the champion, they can't be doing this time and time again because you're running out of fucking guys to make. Reigns beat him. Reigns wasn't made. Rollins beat him. Rollins wasn't made. Who else is there? Every man that you wanted to put up against Lesnar was not made. They failed. Because you dropped the ball. Now there's only one other man. And that's going to happen at WrestleMania. And it needs to happen at WrestleMania. And Matt Riddle is the one and the only one that should be in the position to beat Brock Lesnar. And after that, it's over. I don't want to hear about Lesnar and the Universal title ever again. Lesnar is going to go and be a part-time act. Even at that point, there is nobody else for him. He's beaten everybody. Everyone. Cena, Balor, Styles, Bryan, Reigns, Rollins. Everyone. Everyone. Randy Orton. I know I'm forgetting a whole bunch. He's beaten everybody. Cena. Undertaker. Goldberg. He's done it all with everybody. There's only one person left, and that is Matt Riddle. Rollins is a clear failure. Rollins winning the world title is going to be the absolute worst thing for Monday Night Raw. I expect boos on Sunday, and if he wins the title, he's going to get the Roman Reigns treatment after WrestleMania 33 on Monday night. Remember that? I do. What was it, 33 or 31? I think it was, it might have been 33. I'm not sure. I'm not really sure. Whatever. It was 33. It was in Orlando. Yeah, that was it. That Monday Night Raw crowd shit all over him. That's exactly the fucking reaction that he's going to get on Monday night if he wins the title. I would not do it. I would not risk Rollins anymore. It's over. Do what you got to do and get him off TV or rebuild him in some way, shape, or form. Everything you've done absolutely killed him. And Vince should look himself in the mirror and say, why isn't this guy over? Because it's all your fault. It's all your fault. Lesnar wins. I don't want to see Rollins with the title. Lesnar, this is what you need to do with Lesnar. When Lashley comes back, you do that match. You do that match as a one-off because it's never happened before. Then you go to Matt Riddle, and Matt Riddle's your new Universal Champion at WrestleMania. Simple. Simple. I don't want to hear anything else about Rollins, Reigns, or any of these other fucking ex-Shield members taking the title off of Brock Lesnar. For all we know, Reigns is going to be in position to take the title off of fucking Lesnar again. Speaking of Reigns, hasn't been announced, but I fully expect there to be another match added to the show because WWE fucked up the booking already for the mystery attacker. People are saying, oh, it's going to continue. It's all about storytelling. This is WWE we're talking about, folks. People in the community are like, oh, why are people complaining about it? It could be a red herring and blah, blah, blah. Vince McMahon ripped up the script of Smackdown Live at 6 p.m. I fucking doubt he even has a fucking inkling of an idea of who attacked Roman Reigns himself. Blow me. But I could see them doing this match on Sunday. Reigns and Joe versus Bryan and Rowan. I'm all for it. Maybe something else happens that builds our intrigue, but I doubt it. But right now, it's not on the show. It's not announced, so I'm not going to talk about it. You guys want my thoughts on that? You can go check my SmackDown Live review from this week. I'm getting out of here, man. Thank God this is over. Oh, my God, thank God this is over. SummerSlam is not this interesting to me this year, and I spent an hour and a fucking half talking about fucking SummerSlam with you. I'm getting out of here, guys. Thank you so much. If you enjoyed the video, let me know down below. If you guys want to make your own predictions, WrestleRumble.com. Go and play. Go and play. WrestleRumble.com. I will see you guys on Saturday for Off the Script, and then Saturday night for TakeOver, man. Johnny Gargano, Johnny, and Adam Cole in a 2 out of 3 falls match. I can't fucking wait, man. And then clearly, with all that we talked about here, I'll see you Sunday for SummerSlam. Thank you guys so much. Hit that thumbs up. Leave me a comment down below, and I'll see you guys right back here with more content this busy weekend right here on Off the Script. See you guys later.